The ground should not move like this. Mist hangs over Cretaceous Patagonia like breath from another planet. Tree ferns shiver before the animal appears. Footsteps arrive first, deep as thunder beneath mud. Then a neck lifts above the forest. How big can life become on land? The answer is almost too large to picture. Bones buried in Argentina still strain belief. They belong to a walking mountain with lungs. And even now, scientists argue over its true size. Most researchers call it Argentinosaurus. Even that name feels too small. It lived about 94 million years ago. South America was warmer, greener, wider. Patagonia was no empty desert then. Rivers wandered through vast floodplains. Conifers rose over fern meadows. Flowering plants were spreading below them. In that world, giant titanosaurs thrived. Argentinosaurus was among the most enormous. The strange part is this: we know it from frustratingly few bones. No complete skeleton has ever appeared. The animal is reconstructed from enormous fragments. That makes every estimate cautious. It also makes every estimate astonishing. A huge vertebra was first reported. Then limb bones hinted at something even greater. Each fossil said the same thing: this dinosaur was built beyond ordinary limits. Its exact length remains debated. Many estimates place it around 30 to 35 meters. That is longer than a city bus. It is closer to 3. Mass is even harder to judge. Most serious estimates still climb into many tens of tons. 60 tons is plausible. Some reconstructions push far higher, though less securely. Whatever the final number, the scale is clear. Nothing larger is confidently known from land. That distinction matters. The blue whale outweighs it, but never walked. On legs, under gravity, across soil, this was the limit, or very near it. Its lineage was titanosaurian. These were long-necked sauropods, masters of bulk. They inherited the classic sauropod plan. Then some titanosaurs stretched that plan toward the extreme. Argentinosaurus may have been their summit. If not, it stood beside it. Patagotitan is known from more complete remains. Argentinosaurus may still have been larger. Another claimed giant is even murkier. Its fragmentary evidence remains controversial. Picture the torso first. It was a barrel of muscle, air, and gut. A deep chest housed immense lungs. Air sacs likely threaded through the skeleton. Its vertebrae were riddled with air spaces. Strength did not require solid bone everywhere. Those air spaces mattered enormously. They lightened a body that otherwise became impossible. The neck extended far ahead. It turned browsing into a slow, sweeping harvest. The tail counterbalanced the reach. Behind, it trailed like a living bridge. Its head was comparatively small. Giant sauropods did not need massive jaws. They did not chew like mammals. They cropped vegetation and relied on digestion. That means the true engine sat inside. The abdomen was a fermentation chamber on legs. Every day demanded mountains of plant matter. A body this large could never skip meals. Yet size also brought advantages. Height opened food sources smaller animals simply could not reach. The shoulders and hips carried the miracle. 4 columnar limbs bore the living load. These limbs were not graceful in our sense. They were architectural. Bone met bone like pillars. Weight traveled downward with brutal efficiency. The feet spread that pressure widely. Soft tissues helped prevent sinking. Even so, each step mattered. Mud, riverbanks, and floodplains all pushed back. Fast movement was unlikely. Efficient movement was everything. Scientists estimate a walking pace. It was steady, deliberate, and surprisingly economical. Long legs covered distance slowly, but each stride still consumed remarkable ground. Some titanosaur trackways show a broad stance. That suits a heavy, stable walker. A herd crossing open country would seem unreal. The land itself would appear to migrate. And this animal may not have stood alone. Titanosaurs often shared their world with other giants. So how did life grow this large? Part of the answer began with eggs. Sauropods started tiny compared with adults. They did not give live birth. Many offspring could hatch at once. That strategy helped giants endure losses. Growing quickly was crucial. Small youngsters needed to outgrow danger. Their bones record rapid early growth. Youth did not last long. Adulthood, however, was a fortress. Few predators could challenge a mature giant. That changed the balance of life. Survival became easier once size crossed a threshold. The neck then paid back the investment. Food could be gathered without constant movement. Energy saved as survival gained. Over millions of years, giantism kept winning. But not everywhere, and not forever. The environment had to support the appetite. Cretaceous Patagonia seems to have done exactly that. Warmth and water fed immense floodplain ecosystems. Rivers refreshed the vegetation repeatedly. Fresh growth matters to hungry herbivores. Conifers probably dominated the higher browse. Ferns and early flowering plants filled lower levels. Argentinosaurus may have fed across several heights. Its body was a movable feeding tower. It likely did not rear often. At that mass, stability became precious. Instead, the neck did the climbing. A wide feeding arc reduced wasted steps. Hours would pass in patient foraging, bite after bite, branch after branch. Nothing looked dramatic from far away, yet a forest edge could vanish. Imagine hearing that approach at dawn. Would you freeze, run, or stare? Would you last one day here? Tell me below. Then keep walking with it. The strangest evidence is still ahead. One problem shadows every reconstruction. We are building a giant from pieces. No skull is securely known. No full neck lies waiting in stone. That forces comparison with related titanosaurs. Scientists borrow missing parts carefully. Carefully is the important word. Differed borrowed bones change the final animal. A slightly longer torso matters. A deeper chest changes the mass again. That is why estimates vary. Uncertainty grows with scale. Even so, some clues are unmistakable. The preserved bones are colossal beyond normal variation. Its vertebrae were not just large, they were large for the giants. Its limb bones were not merely stout, they were load-bearing on an epic scale. From those clues, a picture emerges. Not a monster, but an ecosystem condensed. Inside walked a forest's energy. Sunlight became leaf, then flesh, then motion. Every organ had to scale up. Heart, lungs, blood volume, digestion all expanded. How exactly that heart worked remains debated. Pressure limits become serious at such heights. Some researchers suggest specialized adaptations. Others warn we still lack enough evidence. That honesty matters here. The biggest truths are paired with missing details. We know Argentinosaurus was gigantic. We did not know every secret of being gigantic. And that gap makes it fascinating. The bones answer all with mystery. Paleontology is often like this. A few fragments open an entire vanished world. The larger the animal, the stranger that feels. So little stone, so much presence. It did not live alone in silence. Patagonia then held other dinosaurs, crocodilians, and flying reptiles. Predatory Carcharodontosaurs stalked the same landscapes. Young titanosaurs likely watched them carefully. A full-grown Argentinosaurus, though, was another matter. Size itself became a defense. Even major predators probably targeted weakness. The very young, the sick, the isolated. Adults may have relied on numbers too. Trackways from other sauropods suggest coordinated movement. We cannot prove herd structure precisely, but grouping is plausible and perhaps expected. Imagine several such giants together. The horizon would gain moving hills. Their calls, if they carried far, are unknown. Their footsteps certainly did. Soft ground would register the passage. Repeated journeys could shape trails through vegetation. A river crossing might become tradition. Memory may have mattered at this scale. Then there is the question of childhood. No baby Argentinosaurus skeleton has been identified. Still, titanosaur relatives provide strong clues. Their nests and eggs are known elsewhere. At Awuka-Mahuevo, titanosaur nesting grounds transformed the story. Giants began life absurdly small. An egg cannot hold a mountain. Growth had to do the rest. That means the first years were dangerous. It also means the growth system was extraordinary. Bones of giant sauropods show rapid deposition. They were building size as fast as biology allowed. This was no leisurely inflation. It was a race against predation and time. Once the race was won, few rivals remained. Adulthood brought a different world. Suddenly, food rather than fear dominated. Survival became a question of landscape. A dry season, a flood, a failed browsing ground. Any could matter enormously. That is the hidden cost of giantism. Great bodies are buffered, but never cheap. A large gut can process poor food. A large body also needs much more of it. Heat is managed differently, too. Big animals change temperature slowly. That inertia can protect them. It can also trap them in extremes. Shade, water, and movement patterns mattered. So did the seasonal pulse of plants. Cretaceous Patagonia was dynamic, not static. The giant had to read that rhythm. Perhaps herds followed river corridors. Perhaps solitary adults ranged more widely. The evidence allows both possibilities. We should keep both in view. This is where documentaries can mislead. A vivid scene is not always a proven one. Science gives us the frame. Imagination carefully fills the missing brushstrokes. So when you picture Argentinosaurus browsing, picture confidence, not certainty. The reconstruction is strong, not complete. When you picture its colors, admit we do not know. Fossil skin from this animal is absent. When you picture its voice, you are guessing. The stone has not kept that sound. Yet the silence of missing details changes nothing essential. This was among the greatest land animals ever. Its age also matters. Argentinosaurus lived during the middle of the Cretaceous. Continents were separating further. Flowering plants were reshaping ecosystems. Sauropods had already survived for ages. They were not experimental newcomers. They were veteran giants refining a successful design. Argentinosaurus represents that design near its peak. Peak, however, never means permanence. Even titanosaurs lived inside larger planetary changes. Sea levels shifted, climates changed, ecosystems turned over. Deep time never stops moving. Argentinosaurus itself vanished long before the final asteroid. Other titanosaurs endured much longer. That detail is easy to miss. Evolution is not a single ending. One giant fades. Another lineage carries the story onward. Still, something about the biggest stays with us. It makes Earth feel older, richer, stranger. Not because size alone inspires wonder, because size reveals what life can engineer. Bone, air, blood, leaf, and sunlight combined. From ordinary materials came an impossible walker. A creature heavier than many tanks existed naturally. It did not conquer gravity, it negotiated with it. Step by step across warm floodplains, it proved land could bear astonishing weight, for a while. And we know this from fragments. A few stones reopened an empire of life. That may be the most moving part. Deep time whispers through incomplete things. We arrive late to the planet. The age of giants was unimaginably earlier. Our cities feel permanent to us. To Earth, they are weather. Before roads, before names, before memory, something bigger than imagination walked here. It left only clues. If you had seen it once, would any modern skyline feel large again? Tell me below. Subscribe and ring the bell. There are more lost worlds before us. The mud closed over its tracks, but not over its wonder.